It's a long slide. It's the Laidless. Laidless does not happen overnight. I guess what's what can we infer from modern society, the way it operates, the structure of it? Let's look at attention spans. They're dropping, very drastically. And our generations and our generations before us have very acute attention spans. So, like when I was 20, I could read an entire novel of Ernest Hemingway. It took 1,000 pages. I could sit in a chair and I read it for 1,000. And that was before smartphones. So I still have that ability. I don't know. I'm kind of worried about those abilities eroding, though, as technology advances. I'm afraid the human technology de-evolves, unfortunately. So I'm worried about human attention spans, not able to focus for long periods or to critically think for long periods. I am worried about that structure of the human brains. Laidless is a topic Travis Scott Murray from Utah, obviously came up with the concept of laidless. We already heard loveless from, like my brethren, May 21st, Kevin Shields of My Bloody Valentine, also a fellow Irishman. At least he's full Irish. I'm just like part Irish. But anyways, part of diaspora, I suppose. So part of lineage down the line. But nonetheless, we're Irish nonetheless. Yeah, a guy didn't have a key to the pool before they left it unlocked. It was an Irish guy with red hair. And he goes, "Hey, you mind? You have the key to the pool?" And I said, "Sure." I didn't know who the fuck he was. I just kind of said, "Oh, this guy's, Irish. He has red hair." I was like, "Well, I gotta trust an Irishman, right? Because I'm part Irish, so." Well, don't be doing that. It's kind of looks can be deceiving. So yeah, it's like when I was in D.C. one time, a white guy said, "Can I borrow $20? I'll pay you back." And it was like, well, just because he's white doesn't mean he's trustworthy. So don't ever be fooled. It's people that look like you or have a nationality the same as you or something, or have the same, genetic lineage or something. Don't always just automatically trust them. But this guy was like kind of cool and everything. He was like, "Hey, can you open the pool for me? I want to lay out for a little while here." And he had the Irish accent, or what does the Irish accent sound like? Hey, I mean, it doesn't exactly. Is that what Irish sounds like? No, it doesn't. Yeah, I'm just making some shit up. But maybe that sounds more like Scottish. I don't know. No, the way the Irish guy sound like, it was like, "Hey, you got my Irish Lucky Charms, eh?" No, it didn't. It wasn't like that. But anyway, so I let him in the pool. This guy was freaking my mom out because he was like disappearing and shit and going to the bathroom and shit. We didn't know what he was doing. I should have never let him in. I did it because it was an Irish guy, right? If he was Scottish, I would have let him in too. If he was English, I probably would have let him in too. Yeah. What if he was African? What if he was African? "I'm from Kenya, man." I might let anybody. It doesn't mean that they had to be English or Irish. Maybe he could have been like, "Hey, I don't even know what it could have been like, dude. Maybe he could have been Indian. "Hey, could I get into the pool today, son, please? Hey, can I get into the pool, please?" Could have been Pakistani. "Hey, are you a fan of September 11th? 9/11, 2001? Oh, I love that day. Can I go to your pool, please?" Okay, or maybe. Oh, like Pakistan, or no, Saudi Arabia. Oh, those guys are Saudi Arabia, sorry. No, he hid out in Pakistan. Hiding out in Pakistan, yes. Osama bin Laden hiding out in Pakistan. But So every time I see, if there's an Irish person comes to Houston, it's like, hey, you like your frosty Lucky Charms? They're magically delicious. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool, dude. Yeah, oh you're part of my family. Yeah, like you're part of my ancestors back. You know, I'm gonna trust you. And the guy would be like, oh, this guy got this guy by the balls, you know. He'd be like, oh, this fucker thinks he's Irish. He's not real Irish. That bastard. That Irish Texan. That Irish English Texan. Like, oh, he used to have red hair. Yeah, he's not real Irish, is he? I'll take him for all he's worth. Bastard thinks he's real. He thinks he's a real fighting Irish, doesn't he? Yeah, you gotta be careful with that shit, guys. I know it. I'll trick him. I'll say, top of the morning to ya. Yeah. There's a pot of ye gold at the end of the rainbow. What if he tried to trick me? He was like, oh, you're Irish, down the line, eh? He's like, oh, would you like to share some potatoes with me? He just does like fucking cliche shit. Hey, let's go have some Guinness and eat some potatoes like real Irish people do, huh? Yeah. Well, they got rid of the pool key. So the homeowners association and the people that wanted to control the pool, they took away. The pool used to just be open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And now I heard about the event, you know, with the black people storming the ritzy pool area. Yeah. The reason why it's not the reason why we had the pool controlled and we had keys for the residents wasn't necessarily to keep out black people. All right. But if you do open your community pool up, that means somebody's going to find out. It could be the whole African American community. And they could say, hey, let's invite 100 people from the black place to the white pool or to the, ritzy pool. And if it's unlocked and people don't have to pay for it, they will just take over your shit and have a big hip hop Negro rap party like you would never believe. And so, it's going to happen at least once a summer. There's going to be a Negro rap party. And I'm not anti-Negro rap parties. I'm not against black people going to the pool. The thing is, they're not really residents of that particular community. So I do believe if you have a house or you live in a certain community, certain neighborhood, that you should have access exclusively to that pool, and that, 1,000 black kids can't come and ruin your pool party. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, I heard what happened. Yeah, It's, they were setting off fireworks and they threw one white guy in the pool because they thought it was funny. And it was what they call a flash African mob. Yeah. Now, we don't do reverse mobs in America. I don't do... Well, there's one time I was working at the gas station, and all these Asian people came. I guess they had an Asian conference. And then the black people were getting scared. And this one black regular customer was like, what's going on? What's going on, man? And I'm like, there's lots of Asians. I know. I don't think it's a Chinese invasion. I know you're scared. They probably got out of the Asian League conference or something. You know what I mean? They just got out of the noodle contest. The ramen noodle samurai warrior contest or something's up, right? They got out of math league or calculus league. Something's up, yeah. Yeah, I know there's a particularly intense amount of Asians here right now. I don't know what's going on. All right. Now, people might get scared if there's. I don't get. Black people freak out if there's if there's like 100 Asians show up at the shop or the restaurant. Now, white people are going to freak out if 1,000 people come to the Circle K and 1,000 black people at the same time. So that's going to freak white. That's going to freak everybody, every other race out probably too. They're like, what the fuck is this? All right, the flash mob mentality. I think some flash mobs are intentional and some are planned and then some are not planned. All right, but usually it's not white people planning flash mobs. All right, because like, what would be the point? There's no fear. There's no racial history. Like, what would be the point of me going to the hood? What would be the point of me going to Fifth Ward or George Floyd's hood and like bringing like 1,000 white people? There'd be no point except just ridiculous. It wouldn't make any sense. Hey guys, let's go invade George Floyd's hood. All the white Caucasian people come with me. Woo! Let's go to the blackest fucking 7-Eleven they got. It's just, it wouldn't make any sense. Maybe black people think this is funny. Maybe other races think this is funny. Let's go to the white area or the mostly Caucasian area. Let's flood a fucking thing. Maybe they think that's hilarious. Okay, they could. Definitely, I thought about it like, some of this kind of seems like it's planned. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it'd be scare white people. Like put like thousands of black people everywhere. And it may not scare, people like me that, been in New Orleans and Washington, D.C., but it might scare some other white folks that aren't used to dealing with lots of black people. And that might scare other white people, right? It might be, especially if it comes all of a sudden, like all of a sudden, there's the white suburb, the white pool, and all of a sudden, there's like 900 black people, right? Just out of the blue. That might be fucking something that's, that could scare some people. I mean, just saying. It's not the event that's scary. It's the idea. The idea is scary, isn't it? Yeah. People really aren't afraid of drowning, but it's the idea of drowning that's scary, right? Like, being shot, you could survive, but it's the idea of being shot. That's the scary part. You've seen plenty of people with cancer. It's not that cancer is so scary, which it is, but it's more the idea of cancer. That's a lot more frightening, right? Obviously. We're not scared of the reality so much. We're scared of the idea of it. People today are more scared of the idea of reality than the actual reality, which is normally pretty cool. Really, experience a vibe of its own. We live in an age where concepts scare us more than the actual realities of the concepts, which is ironic in and of itself. We're more scared of the idea, the power of our minds, than embracing the power of our minds or the power of God. We become so weak, dependent on technology, that we forgot to be reliant on ourselves. So there's a part in Star Wars 1977 that's really deep, that Luke Skywalker, the greatest pilot, one of the greatest masters of the Force, has to take down the evil empire. And he's going in the Death Star trench run. And Obi-Wan Kenobi, his mentor, says, trust the Force, trust yourself, trust your own self-confidence, let go, Luke. And so then he turns off the Nava computer, and then that's the reason, because he turns off the computer, he blows up the Death Star. Now think about that in a deep fashion. Luke Skywalker, the hero of the universe, has to turn off all his technology and trust the spirit of God or the Force to destroy evil. Well, that's not by accident. That's not by coincidence. That's a universal truism. Because if you need technology to do everything for you, then you're not a man, you're not a woman, you're not even a spirit in the universe. Unless you can feel it, then it's not real. I don't know if that was George Lucas's warning about technology, but I thought it was very true. Like when Luke has to defeat the evil empire by turning off the technology, turning off the nav computer, which allows him to target. He just feels the target because he's so skilled as a being that he can destroy the Death Star with his proton torpedoes. He doesn't need a computer. He doesn't need AI. He doesn't need robots. He doesn't need a starship. All he needs is his confidence in himself, in mankind. That's all he needs. He only needs faith in God to allow him to destroy evil. He doesn't need anything else. That's why he turns it off. Because he knows it's bad. He knows that having directional computers are bad. He knows that having computers telling him what to do and what to target and how precisely, he knows that's bad. That it's not as good as what he could do when he feels the Force, the spirit. That's the real existence of man. Maybe when I was a kid and I saw Star Wars, I didn't think about it too much. When I got older, I started thinking about it a lot. I started thinking about that scene specifically where he turns off the targeting computer. And everybody questions, why are you turning off your targeting computer? Don't you want to be precise? He knows that his spirit will defeat evil if he gets rid of all the tech. He gets rid of all the garbage. He defeats evil because he turns everything off. He unplugs, like Neo in the Matrix. Luke Skywalker realizes the greatest invention he already has inside his soul, inside his God, inside his universe. He doesn't need any more tools than the tool he already has within himself, within his great spirit, his great God. And he realizes he doesn't need anything else or anyone else. It's a pretty powerful message from George Lucas and Star Wars 1977. Yeah. When I was a kid, I didn't really think about it, how deep that scene was, until I got older. And then the older and older I got, I started to think, through technological evolution, I started thinking, oh man, that scene gets deeper and deeper and deeper as time goes on. Yep. It really does. Who is more skilled, computers or androids? Or human beings, or children of God? Well, I think the answer is obvious. Who's more skilled? Those that created the machines themselves were obviously more skilled. more in tune with God than the machines that would eventually take over or try to take over or replace our natural instincts and abilities and skills. I think those can never be replaced. They'll try, and it'll be a massive motherfucking failure. Because there ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Ain't nothing like the real thing. Ain't nothing like... Is that how the song goes? Is this a Motown song I'm singing? I remember something that goes, ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Ain't nothing like the real thing. Or, oh, you too. My Irish brethren, of course. That's an African-American brethren. You want to do my Irish brethren, some white, some more Caucasian. Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Ain't nothing like the real... That's my sub-Saharan African brethren. You want to do my Irish brethren? Yeah, of course. Achtung Baby, 1987. Attention Baby. Achtung in German is attention. You too. Bono. Larry Mullins Jr. Paul Hewson. Bono. The Edge. Adam Clayton. My Irish brethren. Yeah, you're the real thing. Yeah, you're the real thing. Yeah, you're the real thing. Even better than the real thing. Child. Have you ever listened to that? That album's really good. Achtung Baby. Wow. Even better than the real thing. Yeah, you're the real thing. Yeah, you're the real thing. Yeah, you're the real thing. Even better than the real thing. Child. Yeah. The real thing. That's true. That is the best. God bless and best of success. Thanks for watching. Peace.